So in this lesson, we'll be talking about the difference between solving inequalities in one variable and also in two variables. Okay, so if we go ahead and look at the first one, we see that this is something that we already know how to do. Y is greater than 3. Okay, so here I would have 0, 3, 4. Greater than 3 gets an open circle because we're not including it, and it's going to the right. Okay, so here it's greater than 3. So what's a little bit different on the graph to the right is we know that y is greater than x plus 2, okay? So this is in slope-intercept form, so we know that our y-intercept is 2, so I'm going to start at 2. And my slope is 1, because it's 1x, okay? So that becomes 1 over 1. So I'm going to rise 1, run 1. Okay? So now we have a couple different things that we need to know first. Okay, so if we have greater than or less than, when we graph our line, it's going to be a dotted line, okay, because we're not including it. If we have greater than or equal or less than or equal, we're going to have a filled in line because we're including all the points on that line, okay? So I can see that here, y is greater than x plus 2. So I'm going to use a dotted line because we're not including the points on this line. Let me erase this. This is supposed to be more of a dot. Okay, so now I need to choose what side I'm filling in. So which side does represent greater than? So here I'm going to choose a point. Right here I'm just going to choose the point of 1, 1. Okay, so I'm going to fill that into my equation over here. So this equation right here, I'm going to fill in with the points of 1, 1. Okay, so here I get 1 is greater than 3. So this is not true. Okay, so because it's not true, it means that the points on this side of the line here are not true. So I'm going to shade in the opposite side. It means all the points on this side must be true. Okay, so let's try another one. So here I have y is less than or equal to negative 2, okay? So again, this is something that we've seen before. Okay, so less than or equal gets filled in because we're including it, and it's to the left, okay? So here we have less than or equal to, so I know that my line is going to be a filled in line, okay? So a filled in dot here becomes a filled in line on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and graph. So starting at my y-intercept of negative 1. Okay, and then my slope here is 2, 3. So I'm going to rise 2, run 3. Okay, and this gets a filled in line. Okay, and here I'm going to choose a point. Okay, I usually like to choose 1, 1. So you can always use this unless it's like the line is going through 1, 1, and then you won't know what side to shade in, okay? So I'm going to fill in the point 1, 1 into my equation. So 1 is less than or equal. So 1 is less than or equal to 2/3 times 1 minus 1. Okay, so here for x and y I filled in 1. So now I get 1 is less than or equal to 2/3 minus 1, which would be negative 1/3. Okay, so is 1 less than that? No, it's not. Okay, so because it's not true, I'm shading in the opposite side of the point I chose. Okay, so take a moment and try and do these two on your own and then check back. Okay, so if we look at the first one and we want to graph, y is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, so it gets filled in. It's greater than or equal to negative 1, so we're going to the right. Okay, so because I have a filled in line, I know that my line in this graph here is going to be a solid line on my graph to the right. So I start at my y-intercept, and my slope is negative 2, 3, so down 2 to the right 3. Okay, gets a filled in line. So we are including the points on this line. And now I want to know, well, which side says that y is greater than or equal to? Okay, so choosing a point here, I'll choose 1, 1, and I'm going to fill in 1 in my equation. So 1 is greater than or equal to negative 2/3 times 1 plus 3. Okay, so now here I get y is greater than or equal to negative 2/3 plus 3, which would give me 2 1/3. So this is not true, so I'm shading in the opposite side. So all of these values over here that I'm shading in hold true for this equation. Any point on this side would be true. Okay, and then the last one, y is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, so filled in, greater than or equal to negative 1 is going to the right. Okay, and now we need to graph. So starting at my y-intercept over here, I have 3, and my slope is negative 1, 2, so down 1 to the right 2. Okay, if I look at my sign right here, I know that it's a filled in line because we're including it. It's greater than or equal to. Okay, now I'm going to choose a point of 1, 1 and fill it into my equation. So I have 1 is greater than or equal to negative 1/2 times 1 plus 3. So that becomes y is greater than or equal, negative 1/2 plus 3 is 2 1/2. Okay, again, this is not true, so I'm shading in the opposite side. Okay, so just to review, let's put the steps up here. Okay, so step 1, you're going to graph your equation. Step 2 is you're going to test a point. And step 3 is you're going to shade the side that contains the point. Okay, so again, just to remember that greater than or less than gets a dotted line, and greater than or equal to or less than or equal to gets a filled in line. Okay, and we're shading the side that contains the point. Okay, so if our answer is false of the point we choose, we shade in the opposite side. If the point that we choose is correct, it makes sense, then we shade in the side with our point.